share with you whether it's a good idea to purchase a cone beam or a CBCT machine in your practice, or it's not worth buying. But first, for credibility, my name is Khaled. I have been a dentist for 20 years. I run my own dental practice, Lakeside Dental Spa in Hervey Bay, Queensland. And I took it from 1 chair to 10 chairs, from 3 staff members to 40 staff members over the course of 14 years. And you can check my details below. So sometimes I talk to some dentists that want to purchase a cone beam or a CBCT, and they will say something on the line. We looked at the cost of the machine, the cost of monthly repayments, especially if it's on finance or on a loan, and the cost of maintenance and service. And we realized, and how much we bill patients, and realized, no, it's not worth it. It's not worth buying. And let me share with you my view on that. And other dentists will get approached by some radiology company where they can install the machine for free for them, so you don't have to pay anything. But they just have to send the reports to this radiology as well or something, and they bulk bill the patient, something like that. Sounds attractive, but let me share with you how to think about it differently. First, if you only want to focus on cost, and I like to focus on value more than cost, so let's say you want to analyze the cost, how much you charge patients. Most cone beam machines will also have an OPG setting on it. And I'm not sure about you, but I routinely take OPGs for patients as well, and it's really important for me to give them a good service and a good value so we can diagnose their problems properly. But the cost of OPG that you charge the patients will be more than enough to pay for the machine. So that should cover the machine cost, and the cone beams that you charge patients will be an added bonus. But for me, I want to think about it from the value perspective and the missed opportunities if you don't have a machine. So let's say, for example, that you perform root canal treatments in your practice as a general dentist. You know those cases where you're not sure if there is an MB2 or a missing canal or a second canal. It's an upper premolar, could be a third canal, or a lower premolar. You're not sure if it has 2 canals or not. Lower anteriors, you're not sure if there is 1 canal or 2 canals. So what happens if you're unsure? Number one, you might miss the canal, and then the patient will come back 6 months or 12 months later with a PA lesion or tenderness, and you already have a crown placed. Then you will have to send the patient to an endodontist to investigate. The endodontist might order a cone beam, or they might have a cone beam in their room, and they realize there's a second canal, and now they have to perforate the crown to find the second canal and obturate it. Patient's not happy, and you have to go back and redo the crown. Or you might not find the canal, you end up referring the patient to an endodontist, and they will find the canal. Now, if you have a cone beam machine and you routinely take it before root canal treatments, you can screen for that early on. You can decide whether the case is too complicated because of the curvature or the anatomy of the tooth, and you can early on decide to refer the patient. You save yourself the money and the hassle. You save your patients the money and the hassle as well of going through treatment, and they have to go and see a specialist anyway. Or you might be easily find exactly where the canal is on the cone beam and then go and manage those cases. So think of the missing amount of cases and the missed amount of time and energy that will be exhausted if you don't have this machine in your practice. If you perform general dentistry again, and you take a cone beam to check for a missing canal or a missing tooth or wisdom teeth, you might discover some periapical lesions that you will not find in OPG and PAs, just because of the nature of the bone. The patient has thick buccal plate and thick palatal plate or lingual plate. Sometimes some PA lesions might not be visible on normal radiograph, and you take a cone beam and realize it's quite a substantial amount of infection there or bone loss that will not be evident on OPG and PA. Again, you're doing your patient a great service by finding more about that early on. If you're performing orthodontics, you can early on detect how thick your labial plate is, how thick and thin the gum tissues around this labial plate, and you can predict the risk of recession and inform your patient about all the possibility with the risks and make a decision with them before he's taken on the case. If you're doing dental implants, it's a no-brainer. If you give the patient a referral to see a radiology center, the chance of them going ahead and getting the x-rays is very low, and the chance of them losing interest is very high. So you miss opportunity on treating the patient misses the opportunity in getting their missing teeth fixed, and then they're going to have more dental problems later on by not fixing their missing teeth. So don't just think about the cost of the x-rays you charge the patients and how much you have to spend on the machine. Think of the convenience that you add to your patients, the value you add to your patients, the way that your patient will look at your practice as something or someone who's investing in high-end technology to give them the best value, and think of the patient care, which is priceless. If you find this information helpful, make sure you like and share it with your friends and colleagues. If you want to hear more about my videos, please subscribe to my channel, turn notifications on, and you'll be notified when more videos are released. Thank you so much for listening to me. It means a lot to me.